behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there, Palm Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining. Another interview is coming up shortly. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell and you'll be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And also, leave a comment on the comment section if you like. We'd love to hear from you there. And if you pay attention to the description part as well as the closing credits at the end of the show, we'll have contact info for you, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. From Brighton, United Kingdom today, we have David Campbell. He's another great artist. I think you're going to like him, and we're going to get to that in a second. But first, here's a quick word from the Caden Gordon Show, so don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
It is Caden from the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Check out my show at thecadengordonshow.com.
All right, we're back, and with us from Brighton, the United Kingdom, we have David Campbell with us today. Thanks for joining us, David.
Hi, Paul. Thanks. Nice to be here.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to have you. So what's your story as far as how you found music? I mean, I'm sure you always wanted to be an artist since you were a little kid, but maybe you fell into it much later. Everybody has their own story, so go ahead and tell everybody about that.
Yeah, I'd always been surrounded by music. My dad was particularly into rock, and he is more of a music person rather than a TV person. So we always had music in the house. I was always singing. And yeah, I finished school. I went to art college for a couple of years, and then moved, because I lived in Wiltshire then when I was at school, and then I went to art college, which is sort of, I think, Stonehenge, which is a famous landmark from that area. Sort of lived down that way in a sort of tiny country village, and did art college, moved straight to London, and I sort of fell into music, really. I think it was a case of one day a friend of mine who was a DJ had somebody pull out of a project, and he said, "I know you can sing. Would you mind giving this a go?" And he gave me a backing track. He said, "If you can learn these lyrics, we'll do a run through." And that was it, really. I did it, and not very confident at that point. He said to me, "You're going to be a really good singer. All you need to do is focus on breathing, have some lessons." So that sort of boosted my confidence. Went and got my lessons organised, and then I think I had a couple of different sort of vocal tutors, and then my final vocal tutor has his own studio. So that was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to do, was literally just make my own tracks, really. So eventually we put a demo together in a recording studio in London Bridge, which is central London, and sent those out, because obviously that was the early 90s. Of course, then when you sent a demo out, you put like 3 or 4 different tracks onto a cassette and you sent them out to record companies and then just hoped for the best. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times you get that standard letter, don't you? It's very, very good. You've got a really good voice. The backing's brilliant, excellent production, but it's just not the direction that we're going in at the moment. So yeah, that was a completely different time. Whereas now you can just put everything, you do your own thing and put it all online, and it's out there for everybody to see. So I did some demos. I carried on sort of writing and putting some demos together, and then joined a chorus, because I thought that would be perfect opportunity to get performance experience while also keeping my vocals up together without having to pay a fortune for a vocal coach. And went from there. I decided to go back into the studio, recorded 2 tracks, which did really, really well across radio, Europe, a couple of American stations, one in Australia. And I'm now working with somebody called Strange World Music. I was on Reverb Nation, and I was number one in the Brighton listeners chart. Strange World Music were just behind me. I played some of their tracks and absolutely loved the sound and the vibe. So I think for the next 6 months, I pestered them non-stop. I really like your sound. I'm a vocalist. Would you like to, I'm willing to record something if you've got the track. So eventually, I think they got so fed up with me, they just sent me a track, which was it was called Pleasure Trip, written by a lady called Lindsay Jupp, and she had the backing track ready. She had a producer herself. I had a producer from my side. Gave me the backing track, gave me the lyrics. I learnt the song, went into the studio, and my producer, who produced the vocals, we gave it a really it had a rocky sort of sound, which I'd not done before. But with my vocals, which are quite soul-y, it was a really good fit, and it did really well. I've now done I'm on my fifth track with Strange World Music. The one at Christmas we released, It's Christmas Time, did really well. Christmas is a funny one for music. It's a whole different ball game. I didn't realize that there are so many pop-up radio stations for Christmas music. So that did really well. I was really pleased with that. So I think this year there'll probably be another Christmas track. At the moment, 3 weeks ago we released a song called Digital Slaves, which has a very, very electronic sound. That was good fun because we got the chance to use lots of different vocal effects. So that was quite nice, quite good fun. And yeah, it's doing really, really well. So I'm just literally now promoting that. I'm thinking about going back into a chorus. So yeah, I've done a video for this track as well. And the next track is in the pipeline. So yeah, busy. I'll stop talking now, Paul.
Oh no, that's all right. Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment for your music career, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I hope you have a few more years left in you. Why don't you tell us about what were some of the bands that you grew up with that really influenced you?
Well, because my dad was always into sort of rock, Whitesnake, Led Zeppelin, I absolutely I love Pat Benatar. I love Stevie Nicks. Because I was a teenager in the 80s, for me, it was Madonna, obviously, Cyndi Lauper, Culture Club were a big one. And then we had all the electro side of it. I guess that's where I get that from. Depeche Mode, the Human League. And as I sort of grew up, everybody really. I like Bjork. I love Kate Bush. I tend to go for, I guess it's the artier side, I guess. So, but it's nice that I'm now sort of incorporating all those different sounds into the music that I'm doing, which is quite nice. That's been good. So a lot of different tastes. I think I like everybody I think in my record collection, I've got Headless Cross from Black Sabbath to Orinoco Flow from Enya, from Sarah Brightman through to Lita Ford. There's everybody.
Right.
So quite an eclectic taste.
Yeah, I can tell that. You know a lot of legends for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure everybody would want to check you out, like on streaming and social media, as well as official website. If you have any, go ahead and tell everybody where we can find you.
Well, I'm on YouTube, and I will come under. It'll be Strange World Music featuring David Campbell. So you'll see my tracks plus everyone else that's on the roster. There are a few artists. So I'm a featured artist. And then on YouTube, there's my own tracks. We're on Spotify, all the usual YouTube, Spotify. What are the other ones? Amazon Music. We're on all the usual platforms. I think about 26 altogether. So yeah, check out the other tracks.
All right, well, check him out on all those platforms. I know he would love you for that. And
yeah, brilliant.
I think you just mentioned the song we're about to play, Digital Slaves. Is there anything else you can tell us about this song? Like if there was a story behind the song or whatever?
Yeah, I'm lucky I work with a really good writer. I think one day I just happened to say, we went out for a coffee and I just happened to say, oh, don't you sometimes just feel like a slave to technology? So we are just literally, I remember being a teenager living in the countryside and not being traceable, no mobile phone, no internet. And she said, "Do you know what? That would be a really good song." And she came up with Digital Slaves. So she gave me the lyrics. It went off to the producer, Ollie. He sent me a backing track and I did the melodies and I came up with a really rough demo. And that was it. Went into the studio and recorded it. And it was sort of quite organic. I had the basics of the song, but while we were in the studio, it sort of other ideas sort of came out. And yeah, the electronic side of it is just fascinating. There are so many different sounds and so many different things to use. So I'm really pleased with it. So
okay, yeah, it sounds self-explanatory anyway. So
yeah.
And it is a great song. I know you guys out there are going to agree, and we're going to get to the song in just a second. But David, we want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's lovely. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Anytime you want to come back, let me know. I'll have you back on sometime to plug something in.
I'll be back on the next track probably.
All right. Well, here it is. Digital Slaves by David Campbell. It begins right now.
Slaves. Running on batteries with microchips in our heads. We're no longer human, robotic hybrids instead. Slaves. Slaves. We're running on batteries with microchips in our heads. We're no longer human, robotic hybrids instead. Lights online, leaving many behind, controlling our minds. We're so blind, it's all been planned and designed, destroying our souls with every scroll. Digital slaves, that's what we are, chained to a virtual screen. Digital slaves, that's what we are, once free, now we just have keys. Digital slaves, that's what we are, chained to a virtual screen. Digital slaves, that's what we are, once free, now we just have keys. That's what we are, chained to a virtual screen. Digital slaves, that's what we are, once free, now we just have keys. Digital slaves, our life is fake and electronic, not really a tonic or platonic. Surfing in a technical maze, going viral with the latest craze. We're running on batteries with microchips in our heads. We're no longer human, robotic hybrids instead. Lights online, leaving many behind, controlling our minds. We're so blind, it's all been planned and designed, destroying our souls with every scroll. Digital slaves, that's what we are, chained to a virtual screen. Digital slaves, that's what